So, am I live? Am I muted? Is this working? Check. Let's see what we got going on here. What do I have? No stream? Okay. Can you see me? All right. Not a view. Okay. Can you see me? Looks like I need to mute myself. All right. Well, I think I'm gonna just go for it. Hopefully, it says not receiving enough video. What the hell? Okay. I'm just gonna assume that you guys can see what I'm doing, and type something in the chat. If YouTube, if anyone has any questions. It looks like I'm having some technical difficulties, but I'm just gonna go for it. So a bit choppy on the image, but we can see you. All right, hi everybody. I'm just gonna go for it. Maybe it might be a little slow and you might have to pause the video and watch it a little delayed because it is taking, looks like it takes about 10 seconds for me to talk before it hits the video. So I'm just going to go for it. Here we are. We're at the Artist Liberation Front page. This is actually the Artist Unleashed page. Just a kind of a quick overview. Let me do just a simple explanation of tokenization for anyone that doesn't quite understand it, which is understandable because it's not an intuitive thing. When we make tokenized art or tokenize anything, you have two things. You have the token itself, and you have the data, which could be the image, the text, whatever goes along with it that the token references. So first thing is we're gonna create, we're gonna upload an image to decentralized storage. We're gonna create some text for the image, and then we are going to create a token that references the image and that text. Hope that makes sense. Let's get started. Let me check the chat. Any questions? Looks like it's working. All right, I'm gonna go for it. So, quick overview of this page. So right over here to the right-hand side of the page, make sure I'm on the same thing, okay. Right here on the right side of the page, we have a little checklist. Things are going to get checked off as we do them. So we start off, we look at the token. This right here is, you usually don't have to mess with this. This is where you can add a new minter. If you already are a minter, you can add someone else. And this is where you can change contract addresses. You could use this tool to mint on other contracts, as long as they use the same format as our contract. Technical stuff you don't need to worry about. But this is something you should know. It's the IPFS gateway. And the IPFS is the Interplanetary File System. And what that is, it's a fancy name for decentralized storage. And it has lots of different gateways. And by clicking the gateway checker, and as it loads, it's going to load a list of public gateways. And it tells you if they're online. And it looks like they're all online. So I go back to the IPFS. That one was online. Only reason I mention that is on occasion, if the IPFS node you're sending to is offline, the image won't get stored. It's very rare, but this is, a part of the tool. I figured I'd go through the whole thing. So we've kind of gone through that. So here we're going to start with the image. We're really going to get to the heart of this, the tokenization. So first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to choose a file. And I have a folder called Alf Demo, and I'm going to choose this image here, and I'm going to hit upload. It might take a moment. Like I said, I'm going to do this kind of slow, but yeah, it takes a moment while this uploads to IPFS. In the meantime, I will check the control room. I will mint a poem later. Nice. Okay. Looks like it works. We look like we have a few people watching, and that's great. I'm going to go ahead and see. Still waiting on this to upload. I did hit that. It was my mistake. I chose a larger file, but I didn't want to mint a good token with a good image. So it is going to take a moment. And while we wait, we'll see. Does anyone have any questions so far? Okay, looks like Peter Bach is literally creating the artwork. He wants to tokenize at the same time. I think that's great, especially since it's taken me a moment to do this. So let's see. Back to here. Still waiting. All right. And while I wait, I'll check my metadata. All right. Let's see, Boom. All right, my file has been uploaded. As you can see, takes a moment. It went to the metadata page, and I look over to the right. My checklist now has the IPFS image, and the image information was already loaded in the metadata field. I'll explain this in a moment. But before we get to that, there is something else we want to do. We want to set the token recipient address. That's who is going to get the address. Like you could mint a token to go somewhere else. Now I'm going to want to send it to myself. So easiest way to do that is I go to my MetaMask and I copy my address and I paste it there. And so that's there. So now here is something we're going to do. We're going to copy this information. This is the metadata. This is that information that I mentioned that is online that the token is going to reference. So I'm going to open up a text editor, a separate program, just a text editor on my computer, and I'm going to paste that information in there. And now I'd already pre-written some stuff down. I'm just going to fill this in. But before I do, I'm just going to go over the basics of this metadata. There you can see right here a description, an external URL, and the image IPFS, like the image location, and the name of the token. These are all required. There's this other stuff down here called attributes. That stuff I've added. You do not have to fill that stuff in. But you can change it, but we'll get to that. So we're going to start with the description. The description is going to be, I'm going to say painting by, let's give it Johnny Dollar. And here I'm going to paste the information about that painting. After breaking the shackles of the copyright cartel, Mickey uses Bitcoin to burn down the towering Bank of Babel. Let me give that a capital B. Not only freeing himself, but freeing us all. Cool. And the external URL, I'm going to make my website. That way, if people find the token, they can come back to the artist that made it. My developer friends that have cried in agony watching me type so slow. So let's see. We have the description. Check. Oh no, we have the external URL. Check. We have the image. Check. Now the name is Bank of Babel. All right. Now right here are the attributes. These are extra stuff. Well, I would say they're basically anything goes. You can change, like I said, you could change artist name and just say title or author, or you could call it whatever. You don't have to use it at all. But these are just defaults I picked, coming from a painter's world, the way I thought of this. And since this is a series of digital prints, this is going to be one of 21, or actually that's the edition. I'm going to cut that and go over here down to edition. It's edition of 21. The series is what I call post-pop surrealism, something I'm going to talk about in another video. The original media is acrylic on board, and the dimensions are 18 by 24 inches, and it all looks good. I'm gonna copy this, go back to Artist Unleashed, and I'm going to paste it in there. Take a quick look, make sure everything looks good. Right URL. And then I'm going to hit upload file down here at the bottom left. Wait, and boom. There's the hash. This is the IPFS metadata hash. So I got checks. Now I'm ready to mint my token. Here it comes. So we hit mint token. MetaMask is popping up. If it brings up errors or any kind of high fee, that may mean something's wrong, like your address isn't already been added to the contract. That's usually the main error, but it's 10 cents. This is pretty normal. That's gas fee. I hit confirm, and I wait, and I wait. It's been signed. It's confirmed. And here's the transaction hash over here on the bottom right. I'm going to go ahead and click that and see what happens. And it's going to pull up the transaction. It shows it's pending. This may take a moment. In the meantime, I'm going to go check the chat, see if anybody's asked any questions. Looks like people are talking. Okay, yes, it works. Can I mint both? Okay, so question is, can I mint both PNG, G? You can mint anything you want, buddy. You can mint any file type you want. That is Peter Brock's question was, can I mint both a PNG file, a JPEG, and a GIF? And yes, the token and the metadata can have anything you want. It's the wallet and the contract that's going to read it that depends. Now, currently, most of the contracts out there, the wallets like OpenSea, all those guys use PNGs, JPEGs, and GIFs. So those are the ones that work. If anyone's tokenizing, why not add a trait to mention live tokenization? That is a great idea. The description is going to be live stream, an explanation of live minting. Hey, that's a great idea. Peter can do that. All right, so I got a little confirmation success. So now I'm going to go over here to Artist Unleash. I got the block that it's in over here. I got the gas that's used. The token is done. We've minted a token, and here it is. So now if I go to OpenSea, because the Artist Unleashed contract has been added to OpenSea, Rare Bits. It can be added to others if you guys would like me to add it to one. And I can go to my items, That's the easiest way of my account since I should be logged in with my MetaMask. And we'll see. The token may take, all right, let's see. Artist Unleashed. It is not here. Oh, wrong contract. Let's go back. It may take a few moments to get on OpenSea. It also may take it might take a few hours for OpenSea to see the image. If that is the case, that is normal. Since the file size might be bigger, OpenSea will Artist Unleashed. I will just focus on that. In the meantime, OpenSea will cache. That means they'll store a copy of all the images on their site in case IPFS nodes are up and down. That's one of the benefits of OpenSea. But I'm going to go ahead and wait while that's happening, and I'm going to go back to the chat room, see if anyone has any more questions. None so far. Cool. I'm going to keep on looking. Actually, I'm going to stop looking at my version. I'm going to look at the full OpenSea contract. I mean, the Artist Unleashed contract, because maybe you guys have started putting stuff up that I'll be able to see, that everybody will be able to see. And we wait. All right, so we got Hans. Hey, Hans. We got Hans is going to mint a poem. I'm looking forward to that. We got Peter Bach. We got a couple other people out there. Hopefully they're minting. And let's see what we got here. This is something Elon did back in the day using the contract. We will see what... Oop. All right. So we're going to go to the Artist Unleashed contract and see what we get. Okay, so these are total items. We have Hans did something very recently, and it's like potentially a panorama of his studio. Well, in the meantime, I'm going to take a look because this looks like something pretty cool as we wait. Let's see. Any other questions? Well, there have been more questions. Thanks for not just putting finish touches on the art. Okay, Peter Brock is still working, man. Take your time. Let's see. All right, here's Hans in his Tbilisi, I think I said that correct, studio in 2015. Looks like a nice studio there. Straight up old school painter. Respect. I like that. And don't even see a computer in his studio. I got a feeling things have changed. And all right, so go back. That looks cool. All right, I'm going to go back to Artist Unleashed and see if my token has appeared. And it still has not. What can I say? Might take a moment. Oh. Number 30, Johnny Dollar. Something's happening. We got a new token. The information. This is something to note. When you first, here it is. Here it is, coming slow. Success. All right. So I have my token here, and I don't see the description yet. And it says not available yet. So we're going to give that a moment. Like it says, it takes a while for, I don't know if the proper word is propagate throughout the IPFS nodes, but it looks like it's coming. So it takes a moment. And once that's looking good and I make sure I'm happy with it, I will go ahead and put a price on it and share it right here with this link right there. So let's go back to the chat. See, all right. Any questions? I'm going to check if anything else is happening. All right. Cool. Cool. Okay, so we got Stephanie V says she's going to meet me. She's doing B is for blockchain. Blockchain, for kids, if I recall correctly. I'm looking forward to seeing more about that. All right, so we've had no questions so far, but I'm going to hang out and see if anyone does have any questions. I'm going to reload this page here with my token and see if there's any more data coming up. Description's not available yet, but we will see. We will give it some time. In the meantime, let me go back and check, see if anything else is happening. No. All right. So it shows my newest token here. I'm going to wait on that. I'm going to hang out in this chat room here and see if anyone has any questions. So while looks like people are probably working, minting their own tokens. All right, let's see what we got here. Do you know about the storefront feature in OpenSea? I do, and I probably should do more to the storefront. So while we speak, I will. Now, when it comes to storefronts, this storefront, I'm going to hit my storefront, and I have them for, myself, my wallet, as well as for this contract. So I have my Johnny Dollars storefront. And that's one I made for another contract I did. That's for myself. Like I said, everyone, eventually, you can have your own contracts. You might have separate contracts for separate series. Crypto Concierge has done his own contract. Let's see. And done some cool art there. While we're at it, we'll just take a look at some art somebody else has done. This was a piece made by a collection of Bolivar, Venezuelan currencies. It was done to help a foundation of some refugee children in Colombia, some Venezuelans that had been refugees displaced, and I guess they're in Cucuta. And yeah, it's a pretty cool image they made, and it was sold for $200 in DAI, a stable coin using Ether, which is a great use of this this tool. Like I said, the Artist Unleashed tool, you can just make a contract, your own contract that uses our the format, and then you can just use this simple minting tool on your own stuff. Is Artist Unleash your storefront? Well, yes. Technically, Artist Unleashed is one of my storefront. I am the owner of the contract, so it is my storefront. But there's not really much to it. Basically, all there was to the storefront, which we'll take a look at now. Let's see, I think if I hit develop, I can manage this storefront. So if I manage the Artist Unleashed storefront, all I can do is I can change some logos, add a description. All these tokens, they're just here. it's not up to me whether they're for sale. It's up to the person that creates them. This is more about just controlling. I don't know, what do I control with this storefront? Oh, I control the payouts on OpenSea, and that means I can I can add like a fee for the seller. Like once they sell a token, like if you sell your token, a small fee will go to a certain contract. I'd left that blank, but I just added an empty contract. It's a community pot. That if you do want to sell them, which you don't have to sell on this contract, you have that choice. You control your token. You control the private key of that public address. You control your token. But if you want to sell them using the OpenSea contract, like here, I had it with no secondary sales fee. I've added a 10% one, which will just go to a common address, and then I figure once a month I will take whatever that fee is and send it to the creation address of the art. That's something you guys seem to want. Let me see what's going on here. Yes, there's a... Let's see what's going on here. So, do you know about... okay, I didn't even know there was a storefront. Yes, Peter Bach, there is a storefront. That means you can sell this token on OpenSea. You can sell it on Rarebits. You can sell it other places. And that's just simply a tool you can use. So, you can be in control of this. The problem with OpenSea is exposure. Hans, that's true. Things like Super Rare, Known, Origin, those guys are great. They mint tokens, and they act as a gallery as far as they promote and sell and take their cut, and they do their space. This is, you can promote your own. Yeah, I could, promote Artist Unleashed bigger. I would like to. I'm not a developer. I'm being asked if I can develop it more. But I've met a couple devs, and they like the idea of helping. Some devs really thought it was important. Devs don't have a lot of time like most people. But hopefully, we can make this easier. Because for me, ideally, this would be something that would allow artists to not only mint their own tokens, but make their own contracts, as well as build their own little storefront and galleries all on their own websites, which I believe will be coming soon. But really, right now, it's a tool for you to be able to do whatever you want and experiment and, play around with the metadata and do all kinds of stuff. So let's see. Let's take a look back and see what is happening with Artist Unleashed. We have mine. Let's see. All right. Token still coming. I will probably come back to this a little later. Like I said, sometimes it could take an hour until it reaches, gets fully propagated and all the information comes through. But while we're at it, we can take a look at some of the other apps that were done on Artist Unleashed, and we can take a look at Crypto Writer. Let's see, that's another one by Hans, if I am correct. And you can see down here at the properties where the attributes were, he made, this is how the properties are going to eventually look once they finally get propagated. Artist name, dimensions, edition, original media, series, Crypto Writer. Very, very cool image. It would actually be interesting to have, maybe even larger, references to larger format images. But that will be coming. So there we have it. We have minted a token. Let's see. Han says, yes, but even on super rare and known origin, not much activity. All the artists bought the art from each other. That's true. And like I said, I think OpenSea is very cool. And this is really an opportunity for you guys to, use it. Maybe it could be another way to make sales. That's something a lot of artists are, I'm actually gonna do a little mini rant while we wait here. A lot of artists come to this, thinking there's a way to make a little bit more money, more sales, which is legit. I came into crypto, into Bitcoin in 2013 with the lure of easy money, but I stayed for the revolution. And that's really what this is about. This is about freedom. And once you kind of really get it, as the engineers say, grok it, really fully comprehend, this in a deeper level, there's a lot of freedom, and you're going to be able to do a lot with these tokens, a lot more than just simply linking it to an image. The token could potentially do a lot of interesting stuff in the metadata. If-then loop situations. I actually have a lot of ideas, and the next videos I hope to be releasing soon will be just of minting more experiments with these tokens. And, really this is to help, us help each other become self-reliant. That might sound paradoxical, but instead of just, asking devs and people to make stuff for us, we can work with them and make better art. Because really, at the end of the day, this is about the art, at least in my opinion. If you want to make money, become a politician or a preacher. If you want to, make art, that's what, we're doing here. And, we're making money. I mean, we're literally making money. Buy my Johnny Dollar tokens, for example. I mean, I'm joking, but, that is where it's at. So there's my little rant. Let's go back to minting here. Let's see. Cool. What's going on? Yes. Peter Bach wants to promote some of his art on there. I came thinking AR art sounds fun. The sales are giant bonuses. That's awesome. That's awesome to hear. Yeah, man, there's a lot of cool stuff. And like I said, I'm going to, on the Artist Unleashed website, I have thealf.com. I'm adding some links, of helpful tools that people can use. My internet seems to be kind of slow right now. It's probably because I'm live streaming and uploading this stuff. But I'm going to, list some tools, for example, I've put some open source tools that I think all artists should at least know about. I think you should use them, but you should know about them. For example, one is called GIMP, which is, like Photoshop / Illustrator. It's a very powerful free and open source tool. It has a bit of a learning curve, but if you're familiar with Photoshop, a lot of the tools seem similar, and it can do a lot of stuff. Blender, it's a great tool for 3D animation. There's a lot more tools. I will add them. There's OpenSea. There's Embark, Open Zeppelin. These are developer tools. I'm going to add more markets. But I can add some directory to the artists if you guys would like. I can add a link to your websites here. If you're using this tool and want to promote, be happy to help anybody any way I can. Yeah, all right, thanks. Thanks, Hans. He says, great, thanks for reminding us of the revolutionary part of blockchain. And man, that's what it is about. I'm glad, there's a lot of cool people. That's the other cool thing about this is, man, you meet a lot of really cool people, that are futurist, forward thinking, looking about what we can do, what we can build. Anyway, that is. I've been at this for coming on a half hour. I'm going to stick around. Looks like my connection is slowing. But I'm going to stick around until I see some more art by some new people. Let's see what else we have. And if guys, like I said, if you have any questions about any of this stuff, feel free to let me know. I'll be happy to answer. Let's see. All right. Something else, I've been meaning to mention, very much been meaning to mention, is how to mint tokens using the test net. So if I go back to the Artist Unleashed, right here, if I go back here, and if I wanted to mint something on testnet, all I do is I go to my MetaMask, and on MetaMask, once it comes up, right up here at the top, it shows mainnet. If I click on that, I can come down and hit Rinkeby testnet. It's the same account address. And now, if I go here to the images, and tokens and mint a token, I'm now doing it on the Rinkeby testnet. Just to be clear, that could be tricky though. Hopefully, in the near future, we add a feature that lets you know whether you're on the page itself would let you know if you're on the testnet or mainnet. But right now, you just do it through MetaMask. Like I said, this is a tool, open source. And hey, man, feel free to go to our GitHub and if you want to fix something or have a suggestion for something you would like to see added, you can add that to the GitHub. So like I said, that's how you switch back and forth. Let me refresh here. Looks like, check out the token one last time. And it's resolving, coming through. Checking transferability. Another thing is, this is true about blockchain. Tokens have to confirm, a certain number of times before they can be moved. Or, potentially I may have made an error, but I think it has gone through. Let us check one last time. Screen. All right, let's see. Han says, great. My AI is busy munching up artwork I've created. Hopefully it spits out a good one. Okay, cool. Peter's doing some AI work. Hans says he does not see my new work on his screen. All right, I know what this is about. And I experienced it before. From the way I understand this is all on the IPFS, the decentralized storage. So the artwork has been sent up to the decentralized storage, the IPFS. So it's different nodes here, 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 and they all store files, but they might not all store the files. Different nodes, you can run your own node to store your own files, but while they are sending the data around, OpenSea gets it from a node, and I believe after 24 hours, OpenSea caches, saves a copy of that image, like a smaller version, if it's a large file, that is, a smaller version on their site. So it doesn't matter if the node's up or down, long as the node is up when you create the token. That's really key, because after that, it'll hopefully get dispersed to other nodes. So if you can't see mine yet, you should. It's up there. It was successful. You should see it in the near future. as well as your own. So like I can't see yours yet, but maybe because our nodes are far apart, but hopefully I will see them soon. And it looks like I am having technical difficulties. And like I said, I'm going to hang out because this is a live stream and I'm going to just be here to answer questions, see what else is happening with the contract. Aha! Look, Hans made me an offer. Pretty good, Hans. Pretty good. You're beat me to the punch. You know, I haven't met Hans, but I like the guy. I like his attitude. I like crypto artists. I am going to give him this, and I'm going to post it. Let's see. Post your listings. Wait, did I do that right? Let me make sure I did this correctly. Highest offer. Accept offer. Learned a lot today. Hopefully I put this on up. I've had it on full screen. You know, man, I really should get better at this. So in the meantime, I have gone back to OpenSea and I received an offer on this token I just created. So I went ahead and accepted the offer, or confirming that, and it's been done. So here we are, back to it. Transactions confirmed. See what confirmed on here. I really probably should get 2 screens next time I do this because I'd like to be able to answer your questions real time. It's owned by Hans, and I'm actually probably gonna post the next one at a significantly higher price, and I hope Hans does the same. I like to see a lot of people talk about secondary sales. I like to see my collectors, my early collectors, especially with the digital stuff, make a profit because they supported me. Now, there has been a lot of talk about secondary sales, and a guy, if you haven't looked at his stuff, his name is Simon, I believe it's De La Trouve. He does this, this art is always on sale. It's really interesting. It's more like a harbinger tax, where there's a fee paid to the creator on a block by block basis. It's very interesting stuff. But like I said, we're still experimenting here, and we'll see how it goes. So moving along, let's go back to see if anybody else's token has popped up. I see people are dropping off. I hope they minted a token before they did, or at least learned something. Let's see. Congratulations, Hans. You have some new art and some confirmations. Wrapped F, boom, boom. Very cool. Okay. So we are moving along back to OpenSea. Let's take a look at this contract. Peter Bach is making some AI. I imagine that is probably very intensive on his processor. And let's go back to the Artist Unleashed. I should just bookmark this. Yeah, like this is the first time I live stream. I thank you guys for checking it out and being patient with me as I learn through this process. I hope to do some more of these, more regularly, helping people, onboarding them so more people can do some crypto art and really hopefully have conversations. Cool. So we have the Artist Unleashed. Yes, and I plan to make a Twitter account strictly for the ALF, and I will happily tweet and share and promote everybody's art. And all right. Very cool stuff. Do we have new stuff? I'm not seeing it up yet. Have you guys minted your stuff yet? You guys that are out there. Peter, if you're still watching, or Hans, if you give me a thumbs up, I'd like to know. I'd like to keep an eye out for it. It looks like I have a not good stream, so and you might need to let this buffer. So we are not in real time with the chat. Oh well. What? All right. So. So I'm going to go back to the Artist Unleashed, recently born. Okay. So we have all right. So something else, I feel like, might as well teach what I've learned. So the Artist Unleashed is this contract here. Make sure I'm sharing screens. Yes. Okay, so it's right here. If you can see, that is the contract number. If you put that into a block explorer for Ether, it'll show you the address. That is a contract. And the way the non-fungible tokens work is each contract pops up by number. And you can tell that the information has not propagated because it's still showing this token as Artist Unleashed number 30. As the IPFS information hopefully propagates, it will have a name that of the token. Bank of Babel will come up. Because in the meantime, it's just number 30. And that's the way the non-fungible token contracts work. Excuse me, I kicked the screen or the table and it moved the camera. So non-fungible contracts, non-fungible token contracts, they are a contract number, and they just the thing that makes the tokens unique is their number. There's number 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 in that order, and that's what makes it unique. They're all linked to the same contract, and then this number at the end. Looking at the URL of OpenSea, you can kind of learn a lot about the token itself. So if we go back to Artist Unleashed, all right, while I'm waiting, so you can see they all have their names, and this one still says Artist Unleashed number 30 because it's still waiting for the stuff to propagate. But yeah, and these were the first couple I did, the drafts. I was still learning. They were kind of artist proofs. But now I know. So, I will Okay, let's see. We'll go back to recently born. And still here. We are waiting on Hans. And Peter, the AI overlord, has given birth. I'm about to upload an image and the description. Super cool. So Peter Bach is uploading his image and going to mint his own token. So I'm going to hang out here, and if you have any questions, you can put them here or put them in the Telegram group, whichever is easier. And we'll see. All right. All right. So, as we wait, the eternal wait, we'll see what images get uploaded. Like I said, the larger the file size, the longer it takes. But that's up to you depending on how big of a file you want to upload to the IPFS. Something else to consider, I'm just going to kind of riff here and talk while I wait, is in that metadata, those attributes where you could add all kinds of stuff into the text, like we were doing here. You could add other things, like you could say, I can make, like if I copied, man, I'm such a slow typer. Say I copied this. Or if I was smart, I would just retype it. But I'll copy it and paste another one. And instead of dimension, I could say centralized storage. And I could say if I had a copy of the image on Imager or on my website, you could do that as well. And what I mean by that is, for example, like you don't necessarily, like some people question the longevity of decentralized storage because you don't pay anything for it. And what's the incentive for it to be around for a long time? And that's a legitimate question. You could say if you stored it on your own, say I stored it at Bank of Babel on my website. If and I do believe I have a copy on my website. I'm not sure if that's the address, but if it was, like I said, you could have redundant storage. And I believe that's a good idea. At least in the early days of tokenized art, we may want to, store it on IPFS. You might want to store it on your website, maybe on Imager, maybe even do like decentralized torrents. If you don't know what I'm talking about, feel free to ask, because I might get out there sometimes. All right, so hanging out, waiting to see. I'm actually in suspense, to see what these guys have put out. No new images yet. Or at least I can't see any. All right. Well, let's see. All right. Okay, I'm going to go back to the chat room. Like I said, if anyone has any questions, I'm going to be right here, hanging out. And you can also post them in the Telegram group, and I can answer them. Okay, so what else to talk about? That's about it, really. 3 viewers. Like I said, feel free to ask any questions you want about crypto art, anything else, maybe some other art. And if you have any suggestions on how to make for me to do these videos better, please let me know. Any constructive advice would be appreciated. All right. Well, instead of just having dead air, I'm going to go through some of the art that's already been minted on the Artist Unleashed and check out what some people have made. One of the first ones was by Gustavo over at Artolean. He specializes in Bitcoin and counterparty art, but he did this when Lambo on the moon. He helped me alpha test this way back in the day. And you can see Gus GG put his dimensions. You make him an offer. And if you haven't checked out artolean.org, it's a very cool site. I may check that out in a moment. Let's see, here's some paintings I did. We have one here by crypto artist Coldy. I believe he's Coldy 3D is tagline, but he specializes in 3D photography. Does a lot of portraits of his own take on portraits. I'm not going to call him cubist because he's with the digital, but it is in multiple perspectives. Way to look at it. Here is one he's done of Vitalik Buterin. It's very cool. I may share that on the new upcoming Twitter group or Twitter for artists on the ALF, which will probably have no followers, but hey, all the same, I'll put that tweet up. Let's see, we got Crudo, Peruvian artist who does tags and is very much on that Latin American rebel scene. Is doing some stuff. And we'll go back, see anything new. Go to the control room. Have not heard. Oh, yep. Peter Bach, sweet. Coldy does do good work, and he's a cool guy. If you ever get a chance to meet him, very nice guy. Let's see what else we have. We have Ghost Sick. I'm not even gonna click on that one. Just it's rough. Just leave it at that. We have this child's art here. This was done by an unknown, or at least unknown to me, refugee artist. And they painted it on canvas at a Christmas party. They told me the story, and it was kind of a sad story, but then it was happy. It was they all had a Christmas dinner that was sponsored for these refugee kids. And, I showed this guy Crypto Concierge because he was helping these kids how to, to tokenize it. And he's gone forward with it. He has his own contract. He's, forked from the ALF to do his own stuff, which a lot of people have, which, feel free to go to our GitHub. And like I said, if you make any cool improvements, send them back and share. You don't have to, but that's what we ask. It's free and open source, so you do what you like with it. Let's see what other piece of art to check out. Let's see. This is one of mine. Why not? We'll check out one of mine. It was originally done for, when I was experimenting, I did this. This is a theme I go with surveillance for a game called Bitcoin. It's like runs on Counterparty and Bitcoin. It's a very cool community, and this is one of their collectible cards. It's done primarily on Bitcoin, but I did a proof doing it here on the Ethereum blockchain, and that was a test. And let's go back and see if any new items are up. And nope, but we still got 2 people watching, and I'm thinking it's probably Peter and Hans. And man, I'm really in eager anticipation to see the cool new stuff they put out. I should probably check to see if looks like I'm live streaming at a decent pace. They go to recently born. So, like I said, there are some features when you go to OpenSea from a desktop where you can sort things. Another cool thing you can do is you can select certain images, like token IDs. Like you can just select. If you look down here at the bottom left, when you get to a site, you can limit, you can pick certain numbers. So you could just have 1 or 2 if you mint several tokens. For example, this is just an idea. Say you minted token, you wanted to do a series and you minted 30 through 35, for example. You could get that list, whatever there, and it would sort them as it sets this filter, or you could put the filter of just Hans. Very cool here. And so these are Hans, and you could embed this, embed this page, and if I'm not mistaken, it would embed these images here. So you could take this, copy this. I may be mistaken. I take that back. There is a way to do this, and I will make a video about it as soon as I figure it out. Okay, Peter Bach, there seems to be a problem with the metadata. Entering it into the field and pressing upload somehow resets all the values to 0. Hopefully, Peter, that you wait, and if you did it the way I think you did it, you wait and it takes a moment for it to upload. Unless I also may have not mentioned or emphasized correctly that when you do press field, it should blanket and upload it all in there as well. Just put the hash. But let me try it. I'm gonna do it again, and I'm not gonna hit upload just to make sure. I'm not gonna mint, but I'm gonna make sure I'm doing this correctly. So if I go here and I say image, and I choose a file, and I'm gonna choose the same file. I'm gonna upload, and I upload the file. It should do it quicker this time because the hash is already uploaded. But like I said, it might take a while with the connection, especially since I'm live streaming. It might be slowing things down. But I'll give it a moment. And while I wait, we will see. All right. All right, let me make sure. Do want to make sure I am in the correct in the mainnet in the right address, and All right, we're good to go there. Image got uploaded, so I saw that. So I'm going to make sure I'm going to mint it to myself. So I'm going to copy it to the clipboard, and I'm going to set it at token recipient address. So here's the metadata. So I'm going to go ahead and I can either copy it, or since I've already made that metadata, boom, sorry, made that here, I'm going to delete. So I have my metadata here. So I look, make sure I didn't miss a comma or anything. All right, so I'm here. I have my metadata. Looks good. I have description. External URL. Yes. Cogs. Almost forgot that. So I'm going to copy and select copy all. Then I'm going to go here and I'm going to paste it all in here. Does it look good? Looks good. And I'm going to upload file. Okay. So I got the hash uploaded. Oh, I almost made an error. I totally made an error. This is edition 2. Yeah, I have to reset this. So if you hit reset, it brings it all back. So I'm going to upload the image. So you got to be careful, or at least I do. And I upload the image again. Cool. Yeah, I didn't really emphasize this, but absolutely take advantage of the test net. I realized that using the Artist Unleashed, we don't charge a fee except, the gas, which is dependent on the network. So it's, a few pennies to mint a token. But you are an artist and you want to make it a good token. Or, I'm sure you do. You're an artist. You want, we're proud of our work. So when I was originally doing this, I was using the term artist proof, like I would when I made a print in the physical world, and you're, testing out the print. And before you make, 1,000 prints, you want to make sure you do it. You make it right. So you make one at a time, proof and proof. And once you have the process the way you want it, you would mint a large edition. So I was using the term artist proof and doing them on the main net. But now, feel free to, do it on the test net, which I think is a good idea, just so, until you're comfortable with the process, especially if you start doing things that are new, because I very much expect you guys all to do brand new cool stuff I haven't even thought of, and looks like we're up. I'm going to make sure it's 2 of 21. We're going to mint it. Wait for the MetaMask to pop up. MetaMask has popped up. And it's spinning. And yeah, my internet is slow because the MetaMask is not showing all its great graphics, but I can see the amount is 10 cents, and that is acceptable. I'm going to confirm it. And transaction hash has happened. I can check that by clicking on it, which I will, just because that's a good practice to do. And it shows pending, and it's an estimated time of 2 minutes and 33 seconds. So in the meantime, let us go to the chat room. And looks like Peter Bach is making progress. Check for errors. Yeah, man, that missing quotation mark. Yeah, kingdoms have fallen for a missing quotation mark, man, for sure. Syntax is king, or syntax is a tyrant. Depends on, when you're looking for that lost semicolon. Anyway, back to, okay, my confirmation. It's confirmed. 1 block of confirmation. So it's probably going to take several more before I could send it again. But let's see what's going on with the Artist Unleashed. I'm going to clear the filters here at the site. We got something from Hans. And we got something. Wait, that's something different happened. I double clicked. We have from Hans, we have Eurasia by Hans Heiner Burr, which I'm assuming, hopefully I pronounced it correctly. Eurasia, define key exchange information, hash sequence A. Okay, he did do a poem. Sweet. Interesting. And interesting you didn't put the text in here in the attributes, but that's cool all the same. Because it looks like his text is an image. Very interesting. Very interesting. Let's see. And it is 1 of 3. All right, I'm going to read it out loud. Definitely key exchange information, hash, number sequence, asynchronous, consumption rates, data stream, secret whisper, digital dialogue, 0, 1, information, app, chat window, pop up, close, download, transfer, population, pack horse, proviant, dynamite, satanic provisions, NWO, cycle plate reformation, Hans Heiner Burr. 28th of January, 2017, Tbilisi. Cool. That is the first poem on the Artist Unleashed. All right. Very cool. Okay, so we have 2 tokens minted today. Let's see what else is coming along. And Peter Bach has tokenization in progress. Very cool. And let's see. By the way, I'm back here at ETH Scanner. I can go to the contract and see what's happening. And 3 minutes, 6 minutes. So you can see what's going on. What we got here. So, oh yeah, I don't want to spawn somebody's Ether address. Other things to note for the sake of privacy, you can also make an address that you mint from. This is, I'm riffing out loud here, but I think this is relevant. You may want to consider creating an address that you mint from that is not your main wallet address. On MetaMask, you can create multiple addresses, multiple accounts, all in the same MetaMask, and use that and potentially mint 2 new addresses. Birth them at one address and mint them to another, and that could just be for privacy's sake. You may not want someone to know everything you hold or all your transaction history. Just a thought, because it is the blockchain and it does, it's on there permanently. Very cool. Okay, so in a few moments, I should be expecting to see a new item from Peter Bach. make sure this is on recently. You know, good for Hans. You know, he immediately put it for sale. Good for him. Actually, I want to stay focused, do one thing at a time. Okay, so Bank of Babel popped up here. Ethereum breaks free. All right, so this looks like we have a new token. My first ALF token created during a live minting event alongside Johnny Dollar, Hans Heiner, YouTube. Very cool. Let's see. All right, so we're gonna wait a few moments since it was freshly minted. It may take a little bit for it to show up. And but that is very cool. I'm gonna wait to see what that's about. Let's check out the chat room, see what our fellows are saying. Yes, it does. So if Peter Bach, for now, it's only displaying the stock image. Hopefully it updates itself. Yeah, hopefully it does. And it should, like I said, long as the IPFS node was online. If you saw the beginning of the video, which it's 99% of the time up, the image will update. Like I said, especially larger images, they might take a while to propagate. So yeah, it may take, Matt, Peter, honestly, it might take an hour, it might take two, but once it's up on OpenSea, it'll be cached, and they'll have it on their node as well. So you'll be good to go. But yeah, I'm pretty confident it's going to be good because your description came through. And link to this video. All right. All right, good to go. Good to go. Yeah, I'm going to stick around and see what happens there. And check this one out again. Very cool. Validating listing. So you can do I have dye? I don't know if I have dye. I'm going to come back and look at this in a moment, but yeah, I very much, why not have the first poem minted? Yeah, let's see what's going on. But in the meantime, I don't want to multitask myself too much. I'm trying to mint tokens, live stream, and chat with people at the same time. We're cool here. Let's see if all the tokens are up. Artist this one. All right. Yeah, I like the idea of videotaping this. So if I did have a problem minting, I can look back and see if I made an error. And I'm going to wrap this up soon because it looks like, these have been done. I do want to see Ethereum break free, so I'm going to give it a few moments. And a couple things to mention, like if you do run into errors or there's like an extremely high gas fee, it's potentially that the minter address is not been added to the contract. That's usually the case. And if you're trying to add someone's address and you get an error, maybe their address has already been added. Still learning a lot about how this works. Everyone is, including the devs building it. So we are, in new territory. It's fun times and, kicking around. Okay, I'm going to hang out for a few more questions. See, Hans says, in the 80s, I was in Moscow and poets sold their poems on papers, copies on the Arbat. I found that very strange. I bought one about Mayakovsky. I'm not sure what that's about, but I'm interested. That's very... when I was in Bogota, Colombia, I lived there for several years, long time, and there'd often be poets who I would meet who would just, do poems in the street or tell stories, cuenteros. Very cool stuff. Street art, poetry and storytelling. It's a beautiful tradition. Don't see that much of it here in the States. But hopefully we see more. And, okay. Let's go back to the Artist Unleashed. Hit to Recently Born. Ethereum breaks free. All right. Now, when you redid it, I'm imagine you double checked and made sure, everything was there, including the image, which I'm sure you did. Like I said, it just takes some time. All right. So I'm going to look through, see if any more questions or any more people wanted to join. I'm probably going to do another one of these in the very near future, because there have been several people have expressed interest in minting tokens live. I did this spur of the moment. A poem about poet. All right. Like I said, I got distracted again. Like I said, I'm going to do more of these, a few more, because there are some friends, some crypto artists out there that would like to mint and be able to have questions answered in the meantime while they do it. And I plan to do a couple more of these in the next few days, and then hopefully see what you guys can do. Okay, Peter Bach, he says he had all the check marks displayed in the miniature copy of the image, so it should be good. Okay, yeah, it should be good. Like that's true. The devs that helped me make this, main one, Utopia, Chris Lumpkin, he added that really cool feature. So if you saw the image there and you hit OK, it should be good. All right. Hans says, I had an old image sticking there until the other image loaded up. That makes sense. Like I said, this is all new territory. Especially like when you meet the devs working on this, they're still learning as well. So they're cool guys. A lot of them really, are happy to help artists. All right. And so, and this is what, I'm back at the ALF page. So this is what Peter had mentioned. So the image was here. He had all the things checked. And so when he minted the token, it was good to go. And like I said, you can always check the track. I mean, and this is cool stuff to have. You could even print screen this if you wanted. But to know the block number and the gas used, I mean, it's definitely interesting. Okay, so yeah, Peter, I wouldn't really sweat this. It literally could be tomorrow till this comes up, but probably not. It'll probably be a couple hours. I've waited before. I had a guy named the Crypto Consurge who did a bunch of tokenized a bunch of the kids' art. Some of them took a couple of days till all the info had popped in. If it's, we'll check back on it. I'm going to give it another few minutes. And in the meantime, I'm actually probably going to make notes of a few things. Like I'm going to check out some of these poems. Peter says he has his own ENS domain. That's Ethereum name service for anybody who doesn't know. He has peterbach.eth. I actually have johnnydollar.eth. I haven't really been using it, but I've been holding it for a while. When I got it early on, and there really wasn't quite a way to use it. I believe that has improved now, but it is. But yes, I do have my own. I think it's cool. I have a couple other ones. I believe I might have Cypherpunk Art. I was thinking maybe doing art galleries for more cypherpunk styled art, but in the future. But Peter, if you're using peterbach.eth and using it as Web3, that's very cool. I'm looking forward to checking out Peter's art. He does AI art. And like I said, if you guys would like me to put links to your art on the Artist Liberation Front, I will do it. Let's see. With MetaMask installed, it'll redirect any ENS entered into the browser toolbar to look up the ETH address associated with it. That's an awesome feature. That is a very awesome feature that you could just tell someone, peterbach.eth is your Ethereum address, and they can send you Ether. As I understand it, not all the wallets use that yet, so it's only certain wallets will be able to read it. But hopefully in the near future, I mean, it's very cool now because communicating within other crypto people. But it would be nice in the near future to use that stuff. That's why I originally got the johnnydollar.eth. I do realize that it will only be for like the art related stuff for privacy reasons for now. Like I said, because I'd mentioned earlier that you might want to mint your tokens from a different address than your main address for any privacy concerns now and in the future. But who knows? Ethereum will hopefully have more privacy built in the near future. Very valid points. Peter has an Engine wallet and they've integrated it. That's cool. I hear a lot of good things about Engine wallet. I look forward to a lot of good things ahead. I experimented with so many things, so many different wallets. At this point, I still do, but right now I kind of want to use the tools I have to build more art. And limit my time into researching the new stuff because, man, I can really get into research and stuff. You guys probably do the same and, checking out this, checking out that. And at the end of the day, really you just want something to work. But yeah, I probably will check out the Engine wallet because a good mobile wallet to show the crypto art would be a great thing for the collectors. And yes, so you guys want to just post your, if you're in the Telegram group, post a link to your to your website, or if it's probably already on your art because you might have linked it to your to the image, to the token you've created, I'll just use the sites you have added there. So still waiting on Ethereum Breaks Free to load its image. Like I said, I am very confident it will. I'm going to take one last look and kind of just go over what we did for any latecomers. And we'll bring this to a wrap and answer any questions anyone may have. So as we wait, I probably still have this on full screen. There's a lot to work with here. I got to probably get 2 computer monitors to do this. And to go back to the ALF. Actually, let's take a look at rare bits while we're at it. Rare Bits is another site similar to OpenSea. You know, I don't hear that much about them, but let's check out what they're doing with the Artist Unleashed. So we go to the Artist Liberation Front, the Artist Unleashed contract, and we'll see what's popped up. So we have, let's see, browse all items. Something's wrong here. Yeah. All right. Collection Artist Unleashed. You know, I have not used Rare Bits in quite a while. I just found myself using OpenSea more. Not really sure why. I guess it was just had a few more features. Although, you know, the marketplaces, I do like how they have the standardization between them, that, you know, one, when it works on one, it works on the other. Okay, so we have some more here. Let's go to the chat room while it loads. Okay. All right, looks like, you know, people have dropped offline, which I don't blame you because it has been a while. But if you are online, let us see. Artist Unleash is still loading. Close any unnecessary tabs. And yeah, it's loading very slow. In the meantime, I'm going to go to OpenSea, see what happened. OpenSea asset/artist unleashed. And to mention just one last time, on the Artist Unleashed site, so, you know, I've entered the recipient address. Here's the hash of the metadata, so I could put that into IPFS. Here's the IPFS image. If I click here, it'll open up Infura, which is an IPFS gateway, and it brings up the image. And here is the IPFS hash. That is, you know, the magic crypto code, you know, to that, you know, is that it defines this image or the label for this image. And nothing's coming up on Rare Bits. We are not going to mess with that. So back to Artist Unleashed. So you can see here's the IPFS metadata. I click on that and it'll pull up the metadata that I typed in. So here it is. And like I said, if you want to add another minter, you can just simply add them there and click add. Feel free to add anyone you want. The Artist Unleashed is for all. It is uncensored and free. So one last look. See what we got here. So we got Hans, we got Bank of Babel, we got Ethereum breaks free coming soon. And any final questions? Nope, no final questions. All right. And we're going to shut this down. And I'm going to check back tomorrow and take a look at Ethereum breaks free and do some other stuff. Guys, Hans, Peter, anybody else that was checking this out, I hope you found it helpful. I hope you guys make some great art, and see you guys the next time.